in here. So I got some PMs when I posted up my last video on my Strider XL, the one in the middle. A few people called me. Yeah, a few people called me. A few people sent me messages asking me what I thought the differences were, if I could maybe do a video on the differences between a production model and a custom model. And since I've been kind of getting into the XLs a little bit, I figured I'd go ahead and use the XLs as my example. But I'm just going to say this. I mean, you look at the knives, obviously the first thing you see is the aesthetic differences, meaning, you know, the finishes, what it looks like, all the extra bells and whistles on the customs compared to the production model on the top. So besides the obvious, for me, the main difference is the weight of the knife. Alright, and I'm going to explain that a little bit. Real quick, let me just do a quick introduction of the knives we're looking at. The knife on the bottom is a Starling Gear Mixed Strider Custom collaboration. That is the Spartan XL. Alright, so we'll just look at it real quick. It's got all the bells and whistles, came with a exclusive bronze Spartan bead. Exclusive just because the bronze one is unavailable unless you buy this knife. You can buy this bead from Starling Gear from in sterling. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There we go. In sterling or copper, but the bronze only comes with this knife. Comes with a little brown paracord. Alright, see the etching there. Let them hate so long as they fear. See the little Spartan. Got the little old Spartans. Alright, and then again, let them hate so long as they fear. Loose interpretation in Latin. It's got the black oxide coated blade with the dagger grind. And concealed carry carbon fiber. Nice little attention to detail on the stop pins. They've been melted. Nice and smooth. Rounded off around the edges. Alright. This is definitely a piece that just sits in the safe for me. I don't carry this thing. This wasn't for me. It's not made to carry. I'm sure someone out there carries them, not me. Alright. And some of you have seen this one already. I did a video on this. Mixed Strider Custom. Contoured handles. Anodized tie. Nice texture on the carbon fiber. Two-tone pivot. I like that. Nightmare ground. Two-tone blade. Stonewash flats. Alright. If you want to see this knife more, there's a video on it somewhere back there. And then we just have your run-of-the-mill, if you can even use that term for a Strider knife, production piece. Alright. And this is the recurve, which in this size of a blade, I think that's the optimum blade shape, is the recurve. You can just do so much with that recurve, that nice sweeping belly, and then a real subtle recurve. You're looking at a 4 1/4 inch blade and basically just under 10 inches in overall length. So that makes that a really long recurve. So for utility purposes and defensive purposes, I really think that that's the optimum, the optimum blade shape for a knife of this size. All right. And again, like I said in the beginning, the biggest thing I noticed, for those of you who asked me the question, besides the looks of the knife, the biggest thing you notice about a production in this XL, and also, I mean, really for any model, for any of the models, but of course I'm using the XLs as my example, but the biggest thing I notice is the weight and the width. Alright, and the reason is because you don't have all the fancy grinds, so you have much more blade material. Real quick, we'll take a look at all that. I mean, massive difference with these dagger grinds. Much more material is gone, creating lighter knives in the customs. Alright. And if you're just carrying something around just to look at, that's fine, but for something that you're going to use, I much prefer the distribution of weight. It's much more front heavy because of all the extra material, carrying that 3/16 blade stock, 3/16 blade stock almost up to the very tip. The Tonto is going to give you a little bit more thickness a little closer to the tip. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those, so I can't illustrate that. But still, that's carrying a lot of thickness in this S30B material. So, you know, the average cat like me, this knife is going to last a lifetime. I'm not going to break this knife. That's not even a concern for me. Alright. The other thing some people ask me about is the black oxide coating. And I have to say, this has not been a heavy user for me. But I have used it. And it's much more durable than you would think. It does get scuffed up a little bit. But you can just take a cloth and kind of rub it out at the end of the night. You know, at the end of the day when you're done with the knife, and it smooths it out. I don't really know if the camera's going to pick up. Like I said, this has not been a hard use knife for me at all. My hard use Strider is this old school GB. This is my beater that I actually just resharpened it. So it's alright. I took a little chunk out of the blade up here. And I think I got it out. But it might need a little bit more work. I don't know if you can see it. But, you know, this is the one I carry to beat up on. So, this, I primarily carry it for a defensive blade. Alright. Now, one thing I will say is Strider, one of the complaints people have about Striders is the pocket clips, how tight they are. Now, it's not a complaint for me. I'm a big fan, so for me it's not a complaint. Obviously there's things you can do to adjust the clip. You have to be real careful about doing any modifications to Strider knives because they have a great warranty. So if you do anything and jack the knife up, you could null and void the warranty, so you have to be careful about that. But I will say that these are super tight pocket clips, so if you're looking for these XLs to pop out of the pocket real quick, it's not going to happen. The guys will tell you at Strider, they make these knives to stay in your pocket so you don't lose them. These are, you know, these are military tools. They make these for the guys out there doing the work for us, keeping us safe here at home. So they make these knives so that you can be running around and doing what you do and not have this knife fall out of your pocket. So that could be a problem for some people. This thing is definitely tight. I gotta give it, I put a lanyard on this because I definitely have to give it a serious yank to get it to pop out of my pocket. Alright, for me it's not a problem. Some people might have an issue with that. I don't. Alright, so that's kind of a long-winded way for me to tell the differences for me, which really boils down to width in the handles, which for me makes it feel much more secure in my hand, and of course width in blade stock without all the extra grinds, creating a very nicely forward balanced knife. Alright, those are the main differences I have, and I find this XL size to be a great size knife, especially if you got bigger hands. This thing just fits in the hands really nicely, gives you a lot of options, choke up, fall back on it a little bit. Alright, so that's it. Like I said, keeping it quick. I'm hungry. I need to go make a sandwich. Wifey went to sleep, so I'm on my own. Go up and see what I can rustle up. I hope that answered anybody's questions. I didn't get too much into detail, but that's really what we're looking at. Alright, YouTube, as always, be safe. God bless. Take care, y'all.